Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to the emergency storage shed for another episode. We're up to episode 107. If this is your first time on the channel, you're exactly 106 episodes behind just on this series alone. If you've been looking for a channel to provide constant excitement and interesting information, good luck in your search. If you want to just hang out with a guy that's trying to save the planet one item at a time by keeping stuff out of landfill, hang around, hit that subscribe button, you might enjoy it. We've got a lot of series going on. I like to fix stuff. I've got a series on selling online on eBay, but also this series, one item a week out of this shed. As I said, we're up to episode 107, so we're into our third year. I'm trying to make some space in this emergency storage shed. All this stuff came out of other people's sheds and houses. Legally, I might add, I'm a second-hand dealer and we've been cleaning out deceased estates for over 20 years. A lot of the good stuff got stashed at my old shop, had to be moved here in a hurry. Now I'm sorting it out. Some of it actually is my stuff from like 20 or 30 years ago when I was a mechanic. Lots of cool stuff and lots of treasures to be discovered. Let's have a look at where we're up to and what we're going to go through today. We are making brilliant progress through the centre of this shed, but that wall you're looking at, that like the centre of the shed where you can't walk any further, is I think just a little past halfway. So there's still a lot to go to get to the end of the shed. We have dealt with the stuff on the racks this side and now we're using it to organise stuff we find. Stuff on this side, I haven't touched the top shelf at all. There's some old CRT TVs. I'm not sure what's in some of these boxes here. Actually, that stuff I've put there from another job. Just pretend you didn't see that. I've moved the welder down to the bottom shelf. I'm going to hang on to that welder. But what's beyond the welder is, it looks like this World War II transceiver or something in very poor condition. Some other hi-fi gear, not sure what's further down. It's a real mystery. On this shelf we're working out at the moment, the last couple of weeks we've managed to take the top shelf completely clear. Almost done the second shelf now that I've moved the welder. That blue box is a laser level kit that we did look at last week and then we ran out of time, so we'll deal with that first up today. We also have to look at those little parts drawers and see what's in there. Next shelf down, looks like more tools. There's an angle grinder, another mystery box of random stuff, and then there's old CRT computer monitor and another blue tub in there. Don't know what's in there, and pretend you didn't see this. This isn't supposed to be here either. So we have been making a fair bit of space. A lot of concrete is resurfacing after being, well, it's been 2 years and a bit since this shed was full. Probably about 2.5, and then I spent 6 months walking past it, actually squeezing in the door. Let me show you. Okay, there's the door, and I had to squeeze past that air compressor and through there into the main shed, and it was a matter of walking sideways. So you can now understand that a lot of stuff has been removed from this shed. All right, let's get some things through onto the workbench, sort them out. We're going to start with checking that level. We'll go through the parts drawers. That will finish that shelf. Then we should be able to get, well, perhaps the red toolbox. Maybe you have a look in the blue toolbox. We'll see how much time we've got. We can test the angle grinder. It's only a cheap work zone one, so it's an LD model. I don't want to keep it. We'll test it and probably sell it. Let's get to work. Now, did I say it was a hot, blustery day today? It's about 36, 37 degrees and quite humid. Supposed to be storms coming later, so let's not let the weather conditions stop our productivity. We need to sort this out and get some stuff out of that shed. Rightio. Now, I've never used one of these things. I have seen them and I'm aware of them, but I've never used them. So let's have a look and see if it's all here and see if it actually works. Doesn't look like it's been overly had a lot of use. The tripod looks pretty good. Can't see anything broken or damaged on that. So we'll move that box out of the road. We'll set it up, I guess, and see if it does what it's supposed to do. So this, I gather, is the laser part. Is it? Don't know where the laser is. That screws on there. Okay, it has a level bubble on here to make sure you've got your tripod level. That's fair enough. I don't know what the go is with the trendy red safety goggles. I guess maybe you need the red to see the laser, or maybe it protects your eyes. Not sure. There's no book with it, so I don't know. Here we have, oh, the laser's in this thing. All right. Takes batteries. Let's hope it hasn't had batteries left in it. and that obviously mounts in the top. So I'm guessing you can see if it's level, obviously, from the bubble, and then it basically points a laser at exactly the same level as what? As the bottom of this, maybe? It's got a little sight gauge around here for different angles. Oh, these little wheels here will level it. If the tripod's on uneven ground, you can level it up here. These must be lenses. There's two little lenses. There may have been more in the box. There seems to be some spots where there's no fittings, so maybe some are missing. Do they go? They go in the end. Okay. It's a bit difficult with instructions, but then I'm not usually one to read instructions. Do not stare at the laser beam. Use whose high energy will harm your eyes. That's to be expected. Alright, doesn't really give us much. I guess we'll find some batteries and see if it works. And as I said, hopefully it's not corroded up in the end here. Alright, this got to unscrew. There's a battery in here, but at least it's not corroded. So just take one. Shows two in the picture. I guess there's another one in here. There we go. Alright, so at least there's no corrosion there. I didn't try and turn it on, so I don't know if these ones are any good or not. I'll go and test them, and if they're no good, I'll bring some others back. Okay, they were totally flat, so now I have some good batteries. So let's put them in there. And we'll see if we have any light. Is that a switch? Feels like a switch. It doesn't look like we have any light. Did you guys see me put one of the batteries in backwards? I don't know. Look, the picture can't be much clearer. See what the heat does to my brain? Righto. It should work once we put these in. I've got the lens in there. Still not working. I don't want to look in the end in case it suddenly comes on. Okay, after a bit of fiddling, there was a little bit of corrosion on the bottom terminal. So now it appears to have a red laser. I don't know if I can point it at the camera. Will that blow up my phone or something? Well, whoa, I hope it didn't hurt you guys. All right, so the laser works. I'm not sure what to go with these are. Maybe it's just to ease strain on your eyes. Let's shine it at the bench here. Not sure if you guys can see that. Hope I don't have a cat or a dog come running out chasing the red light. Don't they like lasers? So I can still see the laser when I'm looking through these. I'm not sure what they're for. So let me know in the comments. Maybe it's just to protect your eyes a bit. Anyway, it works fine. It's quite a nice little laser. It keeps a dot right across the room. And I'm thinking, as far as the level goes, it doesn't necessarily line up something with a part of this apparatus. I think it's just a reference, so that once you get this all set, wherever the dot shines around the room is level with everywhere else the dot shines. So it gives a reference from one point of the room to another point, which I guess when you're building a wall, you can shine it at one end and then pan right round to the other and make sure it's the same height. That's my understanding. As I said, I've never used one. I'm not sure what these lenses do. Now, you may not be able to see that, but the lens thing I put in actually gives you a line rather than a dot. Let's try the other one. No, that still gives me a dot, so not sure. But I can see it being beneficial just purely as the dot. And around, yeah, you can just pivot right around and everything the dot shines on is perfectly level. So I think I will keep it, as I mentioned at the start. I'm not sure what they're worth. I did a quick search online and it's a Toolsmith brand. I think it's a fairly cheap brand, but I mean, it doesn't really matter, I suppose. It's still going to get as good a level. Perhaps the more expensive ones have a few more features. I have seen them where they project a line all directions, right around the whole shed or wherever you're working. This one you've got to swivel around, I guess. Anyway, it'll do for what I want. I did find one for sale for $70 somewhere and it hadn't sold. I don't know what they were worth to buy new. If I was to sell it, maybe 30 or 40, but I think I'll just put it back in the box and I will perhaps use it when I'm doing some building projects. Okay, time to get onto these parts drawers, which I will be keeping. I'm not sure what's in them, so we'll have a look together. But I guess we better find something to sell. This may be the first episode ever where I'm not selling anything. But we'll see what's in here. Chances are I'll be keeping a lot of the hardware anyway, but let's have a peek. Now this is a nice vintage Australian-made Rota set of drawers, so made out of steel, and we'll go through it, but they're a good solid set, so I'll certainly be keeping them. Here we have some little brass hinges. Now this wasn't mine, this came out of a shed I cleaned out. We have a little bit of hardware. These screws actually are the sort you would use to put knobs on a drawer or something. And I think I made mention in a previous video about the contents of a guy's parts drawer, or anyone really that has a shed, guy or girl. The contents of their parts drawers gives a bit of a insight into their personality. So this one's particularly neat. They're grease nipples. They look like new unused ones. And these are little needles to fit in your bicycle pump to blow up footballs and basketballs and things. This drawer, okay, this drawer has just a few very old and rusty, but they're handmade nails. They're sort of squarish. They've probably been hammered out on an anvil or something. Very old handmade or blacksmith made nails. Here we have just some bike valves and caps. Now these caps are good. I know I try to have these on my trailer. These old metal caps have a little slot in the top of them, which actually can be used as a little tool to take out the valve stem. So if you've got those caps on a trailer, I'm not sure if modern cars have the same sort of valves, but certainly for bicycles and that will take the valve stem out. Okay, this one, just a few cotter pins or split pins. A couple of cert clips in the back and some wing nuts. It's all very neat. What's in this one? We have, that's just the hot water indicator from an old water tap, kitchen tap, bathroom tap, and a couple of slightly rusty square keys. Some chalk, just one little machined knob, it's probably a brass one. Some larger keys. So if you don't know, these go in a like a channel, like a keyway for when you're fitting a pulley to a shaft or something like that, so that the shaft can drive the pulley without it slipping. So they're obviously very large, heavier machinery. They're smaller ones. Just a couple of little clips, possibly speaker clamps or something. Empty. Just two little wire clips, some hose clamps, and some, these are called escutcheons. So it's obviously just a plate to guide where you put the key for an old door lock or a box or something. They're quite nice ones. Sometimes you find them in brass. I don't think these are brass. Oh, that one probably is. A nice decorative escutcheon, probably off a little cupboard door, that one. So they're pretty cool. One wing nut. Now we're still in shot if I go down to the bottom one. So we have a heap of Allen keys. Oh, it's even labelled. An empty drawer. An empty drawer. That one's a bit rusty. Must have been wet, this box. Oh, some old jeweler's screwdrivers that have had water in them. That's a shame. We'll try and probably clean those up. Now down lower, I'll have to adjust the camera. There we go. We are missing a few drawers at the bottom, but I think I found one of these drawers in a box recently. A whole heap of fuses. Oh, some brass hardware. Very nice. brass machine screws. Oh, not all brass, some of them are just steel ones. But these are great old screws for when I'm working on vintage equipment, old radios and that sort of stuff. Very nice. And this one we have these shake-proof washers. I think he called them star washers. And a bit more hardware, some bolts, some of these round headed screws, they'll be handy. I probably will keep a bit of this. Oh, lots more brass. Look at this. These are brass, they're not nuts, they're like, what do you call them? Not sure what you call them. Just to do up with your fingers. They're knurled around the outside. Not sure, there's a lot of nuts in here as well. Not sure what they're all off. I certainly won't be using all those. And that was it, was it? Oh no, we've got some lugs. Some crimp-on lugs for electrical connections. And some of these are solder-on ones. And they will be very handy. They'll be brass. They'll actually be copper. Nickel-plated copper, most of those. So they will be useful. Well, there you go. An interesting assortment. I will hang on to all that for now. I will sort it out eventually. There's quite a few empty drawers. So what does that say about the previous owner? Well, not sure. There was spaces in his head that were quite empty. Maybe there was a lot of stuff in here and it had been cleaned out before. There's not really a lot of assorted junk. Sometimes you get these where every single tray is a lucky dip. This one's relatively organised. But maybe it had been picked through and someone's taken some of the stuff. Anyway, really nice drawers. They do need to clean up. A couple of them are a bit rusty, but I will certainly incorporate them into my workshop. Nothing to sell here. Okay, we really do need to find something to sell today. So I've got the red toolbox and the angle grinder. I'm pretty sure, well, unless it's got an issue, I'm pretty sure we can sell this. I certainly don't want to keep it. So, and I'm not sure what's in this red box. It looks vaguely familiar. Okay, I've just checked the cord, and the cord on the grinder is good, so there's no issues there. Grinders are notoriously known for cutting or gouging the cord, particularly when someone's finished grinding and they just put it down on the bench, because often the blade's still spinning at enormous revolutions. So the cord's okay. As I said earlier, it is a work zone, so it's only a cheap brand, an LD brand. It's got a steel blade on it. I think that's for cutting sheet metal. It hasn't got, it's got abrasive stuff right on the edge. I'm not sure how good that blade is, but it should be fine to give it a quick start up. So I'll plug it into the appliance tester, and we'll just hold it in case for some reason the switch is on, because otherwise they jump and can be very dangerous. So that's okay. It's double insulated, but let's just check to make sure there's no earth leakage. And we'll leave that there while we power it up. So it has a variable speed, and it has a bit of a weird trigger lock here. Let's see if it goes. Alright, well, it's all good as far as the appliance tester goes, but that switch is a little tricky. It bursts into life when I'm not quite ready for it. I'm better off hanging on to this handle, I guess. Okay, well that's okay. It sounds as good as I'd expect a cheap unit to sound. I think it'd be quite usable. I didn't see a lot of bad arcing from the brushes or anything. And the switch is okay once you get used to it. You've just got to flick that safety thing forward. And you do that with your front finger, and then you squeeze the trigger. And it works fine once you get used to it. So, alright, I think that's okay to sell. It's certainly safe. I can put a tag on it. I'll clean it up a little bit. Just wipe it over with some cleaner and maybe then some Armor All just to bring the plastic up a bit better. And yeah, I think we should be able to get, I don't know, probably $20 for it. We'll see how we go. Now, time to have a look in this red toolbox. It is extremely heavy. It's also pretty dirty. I'm not sure if that all happened in my shed or it came from someone else's shed in that condition. Tracks. I don't think it's overly old. And what's in it? Oh, yes. I do remember this. I don't think it was mine, but I'm not sure if I remember where it came from. It's a hydraulic puller. I think it came from a garage sale. I bought everything that was left. Was there a price on it? No. So it's a hydraulic puller with all different bits and pieces. Now, if you're not familiar with what a puller is, it's a method for getting gears and cogs and sprockets and things off machinery. So you've got these big arms that can go around the back of a particular, I don't think it goes on that one. You can go around the back of a pulley or a cog. That one's never been used. It's melted onto the foam, or the foam's melted onto it. So yeah, the idea is to be able to pull things off heavy metal shafts, and you have lots of different size arms. These ones here slip behind like a bearing that you have to pull off a shaft. So there'll be bolts to go through those. So you put two halves behind the bearing and then you pull them this way. And the engine of the machine is this. Oh, it's very oily. It is a hydraulic one, so it's got oil in it or grease in it. And you wind this up and it pushes on the end of the shaft, and the outside here is sleeved, where you put these sort of tools onto it, and you can actually then use this to put heaps of pressure on the end of the shaft while the arms reach around and pull whatever it is off. They're invaluable for the right jobs, and sometimes there's no other way of getting something off a shaft. Things tend to corrode themselves on sometimes. Sometimes you've got to have a lot of heat to get them off as well. So it's a serious mechanics tool. I think Dad had some on the farm at one stage as well, and you would need them when you're working on old machinery. I don't think Trax was a particularly good brand. It probably makes me think it was maybe made in Taiwan or something. That doesn't mean it's bad, but I don't think it was a top quality one. But anyway, it's going to have some good value, but you're probably already going to guess that I'll hang on to this for now just in case I need it. I've used one of these numerous times throughout my life as a mechanic, and they are very, very handy to get something apart that you pretty well would have no other way of doing it. So I think we can get rid of the foam. But it looks like all the parts are here, and the fact that it's leaked a bit of oil is probably a good thing. Nothing's gone rusty. So that's the part there that you put the arms in. So you do have to undo bolts and sort of assemble it for whatever particular job you're trying to do, but all the bits and pieces seem to be here. Very good. All right, well, I'll clean it up while I've got it out. I'll pack it back in the little toolbox. I might just clean the top off so it's not so bad. And we will keep this for perhaps a future job. And who knows, down the track on my channel, you may even see me pull this out to solve a problem if I'm... Oh, I do have a very old Howard rotary hoe I'd like to do it one day, and it's got some big old gears and cogs on it, so we may need this down the track. Okay, I think we'll wind this video up now, and we have but one item to sell. Just the Work Zone angle grinder. Cleaned up pretty good, actually. It looks very nice now. It's been tested and tagged, and with my patent toilet roll holder to stop the cord tangling up. I didn't change the blade, but I will find one of the tools for it. I've been putting a few in my $1 box at the shop lately, and I think I've got one that size, so that can go with it. We'll just put our $20 on it, and that's all we're going to write down this week. So I haven't even got the notepad out for you because I think we can all imagine what $20 looks like written on a piece of paper. I've got some cool stuff to keep: the laser level kit, the hydraulic puller kit, and some really nice metal Rota parts drawers, complete with bits of hardware. So that's the end of today. We've managed to clean off that shelf. We only have, I think there's 2 shelves left on that unit, so we'll get to one of those next week. And those shelves are a total mystery. We have a large blue toolbox that I have no idea what's in there. Then there's a mystery tub plastic tub. Underneath there's another mystery plastic tub and a CRT computer monitor, which, you know, I've been selling a few of those. They actually sell quite well. We'll test it, of course. If it doesn't work, we'll address that when we come to it. But anyway, that's all we've got to go. So look forward to that next week. I'm happy to get through this week. Even though we didn't get much to sell, we got some nice tools and we have made more space. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next video. Bye for now.